it's been a rough year for these podcasters and these radio stations. We know with the technology now, there's a lot of things in the old world that's been obsolete, and one of them is the radio. So we just saw yesterday with a bomb drop where Ebro and his morning show was canned, and then all of a sudden you had Funkmaster Flex coming in, and he's taking over the morning show. But they got rid of 3, right, to bring back 1. So they was cutting salary because people are not tuning in, and they're trying to save money, right? So, but then we know that but Charlamagne in the Breakfast Club, right? They signed a deal with Iheart back in 2020, right? It was like a 5-year deal for like $1.5 million a year, right? And that contract is up, and there's all kinds of speculation of saying that they're the next to be canned, right? And we know that he's wanted a nighttime show for some time now. But just a couple days ago, Joe Buttons was talking about the podcast game and how the podcast game is dying and is dead. These investors and corporations are no longer investing the big money into these people. Well, Charlamagne begged the difference, and he started going into the numbers of how podcasters are winning, how they're going into podcasts, and they was already opening up the door letting you know that the radio stuff is going. The radio game is going. The hip-hop game is going. Everybody's coming over into the podcast game and trying to make money because they see that that's where the financial surplus is, right? But let's go back and look at what Joe Budden said first, right? And then we get into Charlamagne's rebuttal and what's going on now with the Breakfast Club.
I think that most of the podcasts are done. I think if you're not a top podcast, you're done.
Bro, yeah. The bubble.
If you're not at the top of the top of the top of this thing, then I think you're done.
Why?
People with names, people without names, huh?
Why do you say that?
Because where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from right now? Whoever is looking to pump millions and multi-millions.
Established podcasts that are impactful.
He wasn't talking. He was talking about.
Oh no, that's over.
Remember when they gave
Obama's a podcast?
Amy Schumer.
Yeah,
those days are over. They're only dealing with who is impactful.
You've already been proven in podcasting.
That's it.
That's
who's getting it back.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Makes
Keep fucking throwing money around.
If you don't got an audience, I'm not giving you a deal.
Or you might have an audience.
But if you go independent, you can keep your costs down and make some money. Then you can still win. Like same thing with music.
People don't want to go independent. They don't want to spend their own money.
That part.
I've been telling Elliot
Same
Wolf
thing
to
with
spend
music.
his own money for ages. He won't.
rather take the check.
I told him to come with me to Everyday Struggle. No. He went over there to wherever he went. It wasn't Everyday Struggle. Who knows what he did? That Everyday Struggle mistake. What a mistake. I mean, I told him to his face, so I don't feel bad saying that. What a mistake. They didn't have an extra $4,000 for you. Brand builder.
So I like, Joe Buttons is basically saying if you ain't at the top of the top, you got to come already in with an audience and you got to get it how you live. Those of us that's already been in these spaces that can make money off the AdSense and donations and people sending money, we gonna be good. But the ones that was coming in, that was getting contracted in and getting that $30 and $40 million deals from the corporations, those days is over, right? And these radio stations, nobody's listening to the radio. But when Joe Buttons made that statement, Charlamagne begged the difference.
Radio is beyond powerful. Another thing, even when it comes to podcasting, right? I was laughing at podcasting. For all the people that out there that acting like podcasting is dying. I don't know why they're saying that, but 2025 podcast listening is growing rapidly. More than 584 million people listen to podcasts in 2025, with numbers expected to reach 619 million by next year. Engagement is high. 34% of Americans listen to an average of 8.3 podcast episodes per week, and 83% spend more than 9 hours listening weekly. Video is redefining the podcast landscape. More than half of shows are now posting full video on YouTube. Podcasting is a booming industry. The market is projected to be worth $17.59 billion by 2030. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something else real quick. And I want to talk about radio just for 1 second.
So it's like she did
ad revenue in radio 2025. You know how much ad revenue radio made in 2025? No. $12.3 billion for local radio across the country in America.
I think their last phone was like an iPhone.
$12.3 billion.
They're up to 17 now, right?
Digital ad revenue is $2.3 billion, $2.9 billion for radio. Now, Listen to what I said. 12 billion.
They need to donate that.
Podcast ad revenue. I mean, now podcast ad revenue, $3 billion this
We
year.
gotta close out, yo.
So for all of these people who say things
So
like,
you mentioned,
podcasting is bigger
I know
than
it's sold out,
radio.
but I just wanna say-
Radio
well,
made
I guess-
12.3 billion in ad
I'm
revenue
bringing
this year.
out- I guess
Podcast
I
made
can't
3
say
billion.
it.
I don't think
I'm
y'all
bringing
realize
out
how much
Mariah
of a
Sciences,
growing
just
industry
mentioned it.
podcasting it still is. Brilliant Idiots been around for 13 years, and we were one of the very first podcasts. People like Joe Rogan been around for 15?
Why does one
You
make
know what I mean?
people come? And I'm wearing my coat.
It's still a growing business. So, I saw, I think it was Academics, maybe Academics and Joe. I don't know. Maybe I'm misquoting them, but I saw them saying how, the podcast industry is dying. No, it's not. Not in no way, shape, or form. Now, I will say this.
So this dude.
You niggas starting your little hip hop shows. Okay. Everybody don't want to hear from y'all, but y'all got to be patient. I love the Need to Know podcast. Need to Know should have just been a little bit more patient. How many times have I shouted out Need to Know podcast?
Now, there's a lot of speculation that the Breakfast Club might be getting canned. And Charlamagne, he put in his contract that he would want to be flexible enough to have a nighttime show. Now, he once hosted the Daily Show at night. He did a pretty good job, right? He wasn't horrible, right? But he did a good job. So this is what he's always wanted to do, and part of this was in his contract. So could he be trying to scrap the Breakfast Club to focus on his career and his nighttime gig? Right? Could that be? But we do know with all the stuff, with all the firings and all the stuff that's going around with this radio station, and they haven't read up their contract as of yet, there's a lot of speculation going on, right? So he was on a show where they was asking the questions and he was ducking and dodging, right? He didn't really want to answer the questions.
Kind of, Mike. So as you mentioned, Charlamagne, it was 2020 when you started it, and I believe it was a 5-year deal. So your renewal is coming up with Iheart. Do you plan to renew?
You know what's so interesting about 2020? That it was COVID, right? And so being that it was COVID, everybody that I reached out to said yes to the Black Effect Podcast Network. And that's why we were able to launch with 20 plus, 20 plus different podcasts. But that's crazy you knew that.
I was gonna say, how do you know this?
Because when the press release says it was a 5-year deal, and the press release came out December 2020, and we're almost there.
Guys, Carrie can read.
Carrie can read.
That's amazing. You've learned anything today. So I don't think you answered my question.
Yeah. We call that the weave, I learned.
The bob and weave.
Saw Donald Trump say that on Flagrant, the weave.
So we don't...
She's waiting for you.
Can you answer the question?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, your deal with Iheart expires at the end of this year. Are you going to renew with Iheart?
Why not?
I don't like to talk business. It's not the place to talk business.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a lot of fun.
Media
we
conference.
have a lot of time to decide that. So we'll let you know December 31st at 11:59 p.m.
Good answer.
What you guys are kind of alluding, though, is that you're talking around. Like your options are...
No, I'm not alluding to nothing.
Okay.
I said I'm weaving.
Now you're doing the Dougie.
There are options outside of Iheart. It seems to be what we're hearing.
Now, I know if he's in negotiations, he's playing hardball. But again, if he's preparing for his late night show, that takes hours and hours and hours of preparation. He's not going to be able to run his nighttime show and run the Breakfast Club at the same time. And they're saying things like, listen, we had a long run over here, right? And he knows that now he gonna she gonna jump ship and go make a lot of money. Now Tasha K, she got wind of this, and she went to her channel and she posted this. She said, allegedly Charlamagne the God's contract is not up for renewal. His contract ends January 21st. A close source tells me that they are not bringing him back, reportedly due to his shift into the political space. What does this mean for the future of the Breakfast Club? Everything is allegedly. Even my name is allegedly. So winos, what say you? What? Y'all happy to see thing go, or do you want to see him stay? Sound off below tonight, right? So she's giving her a go on who she gonna have on the show. But she's basically going in, saying that she got information from a credible source that his contract ain't up. They getting rid of him, right? They getting them out of there. Now we know that with the political landscape right now, with the regime that's in office, you have a lot of people that have democratic tendencies. They have a democratic way of thinking, and their talking points are Democrat leaning. We've seen what happened when the president tried to get a lot of people off the air because they said things about him that he didn't like, right? So these people are saying things about him that he don't like, and things are going haywire. But Charlamagne, he said some things on his show, also alluding to that it could be over.
Charlotte, what lick we about to hit? I don't know, man. Things tight out here in these streets, man. You see what's happening, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know if any licks about to be hit, man. I think everybody should just be happy to be making a living. That's what my mom always told me. My mom always said, you know, just be happy to be making a living. I'm just happy to be making a living, okay? Somebody said, Charlotte, you going to sub to Envy's foot OnlyFans? Envy might have to. We don't know what this going to look like after this week.
I told him, I said, yo.
If we get fired, they'll be so hurt. OMG. That was a good run, guys.
Great run.
Why y'all acting like that?
That is so wild. I'm just
stupid.
Exactly, Taylor. That's
It was a great
crazy.
run, though. It was a great, like,
Y'all are crazy.
we ain't going nowhere, but it was a great run.
Well, Jess is already home, so she's halfway there.
Shut up, man.
You know what I'm saying? Already halfway there. I know. Trust me, I know. Shit, I ain't stupid. I know.
Somebody said, do we know something that we don't? We don't know nothing. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody, what the Bible say? Nobody knows the day nor the hour.
Y'all don't get that? Y'all can't see that yet, chat? Don't nobody know nothing to Breakfast Club.
Nobody
know nothing.
know the day nor the hour. Somebody, this was funny. Somebody said Radio Rico. I think this is what I would like to do. You know, at the end of the year, we do all these year-end reviews, right? All these year-end reviews of like albums and stuff like that. You know what we need to do in 2025? Do a year-end review of all the bull stories that bloggers and other podcasters and everybody told y'all that were not true. Because y'all be just
like
letting... I saw somebody put Radio Rico. Like, y'all be letting these people say anything. Somebody said it's Breakfast Club ending. It's our last week.
It's our last week, but we'll be back in January, y'all. We take a vacation.
Yo, this nigga's crazy.
This guy's crazy.
They gonna clip that shit, and that shit gonna be
week,
everywhere.
Man. I'm just telling, listen, it's our last week for the year, y'all. Just letting y'all know that.
Just for the year. We'll be back January.
That's all right. They already
we
clipped
pray.
it. They gonna clip that shit.
We pray we be back in January.
We'll be back January.
Okay.
And if not, y'all gonna see my feet on OnlyFans. I'm telling y'all right now.
They out there now. Somebody said appreciated that sit down at the Deal Book Summit. We need more conversations like that. Yeah, that was a fun conversation. Somebody said too long, man. We need a vacation.
Yeah, you gotta think about it like this. Even in Thanksgiving, when most people got off, we worked until what, Wednesday? Like we stay on.
Somebody said no way they getting.
We say.
Y'all are so crazy.
So they say that this is the last show for the year. So they're going to go home and they're going to come back at the top of the new year. But we see that Tasha K said that his contract renewal is January the 21st. Now I'm gonna tell you something right now. The Breakfast Club can't survive without Charlamagne. You're not gonna have Envy and the other two women on there and think that people gonna really tune in to listen to that show. It's not gonna happen. Right? It's just not going to happen. Right? So either they're going to renegotiate his contract and they're going to stay on for another 5 years, or he's going to move on. But one thing for certain, two things for sure, we know for a fact that it ain't going to work no other way. Right? If you get rid of that show, I mean, if you get rid of Charlamagne decides to leave and pursue his night show. I mean, who you gonna bring on? Who you gonna bring on the show with Envy? I mean, I think about it, like somebody like Academics is not going to do it. He's making too much money. Somebody like Joe Buttons is not going to do it. He's stepping down. He's making too much money. So nobody's going to do that show. Nobody's going to be able to come in and fill Charlamagne's shoes for that show. It's just going to be over. And the majority of them are going to be on YouTube. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. You know, the Breakfast Club now is on the verge of being canned, just like all the other shows. The technology is destroying the old world, man. We're going into a new way. There's a new way that we gotta move now. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.